everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be doing another trip report, but this time it is for Universal Studios. So last week I posted a video talking all about my trip report for Walt Disney World, and this week we're going to be talking, as I said, about Universal Orlando. Now I wanted to do the two in separate videos because I had so much to say about both of them, but also we spent a lot longer at Walt Disney World than we did at Universal Studios. So although I have a lot to say about Universal Studios, it isn't as much as what I had to say about Walt Disney World, as we were only at Universal Studios for really about 2.5 days. But we got so much done during that time, so yeah, we're just going to get on with it. Okay, the first thing that we're going to do is, like in our other video, a couple of little notes. The printer's been silly, so I couldn't get stuff printed out, so I have got my computer, and I will be using that just to make references, and some of the questions are the same and some are different because of the differences in the parks. Let's start by sort of just giving you a brief introduction about our stay, and then we're going to go in depth with everything else. So we stayed at the Universal Orlando Resort. Hold on, that's really bright all of a sudden. So we stayed at the Universal Orlando Resort, and we stayed in one of their deluxe hotels, the Lowe's Royal Pacific Resort, and we loved that resort, but we're going to get onto that more in a minute. And we were there between the 15th and the 17th of November. Now we didn't actually get into the hotel and actually into our room until gone 7 o'clock in the evening, so we really didn't actually spend a lot of time there on the 15th. In fact, we didn't visit the parks at all on the 15th, and I'll get into why a little bit later on in the video. And then on the 17th we left about 4-5 p.m. To go over to Walt Disney World, so we really did only have the 16th full day and then up until about 4-5 p.m. on the 17th. Okay, that's kind of it for the introduction. Let's get straight into the video. So like with Walt Disney World, there has been questions about, since the pandemic, how has it been adjusting back? Are they still as magical? Are they still as fun? And just like Walt Disney World, yes, 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 it is so magical, so much fun, everybody is so friendly, and we had such a good time. The Wizarding World of Harry Potter completely blew me away. We only kind of got to see little bits of it last time. It was so hot, it was our first time, we were very overwhelmed, so we didn't see as much last time, but this time we full on spent hours in there. Like, we literally spent most of the 16th in the Wizarding World, and then we went back on the 17th. Even though we did other bits, we went back and spent quite a considerable amount of time over at the Wizarding World as well. So that full on blew me away. The cast members were also friendly, everybody was so nice, and they were just so, like, they just seemed to care about their job and about the people that were there. Yeah, and it was really nice. But we're going to talk more in depth about our hotel now. So Lowe's Royal Pacific Resort Hotel. This is one of the more deluxe version. This is one of Universal's deluxe hotels, and with a deluxe hotel comes many advantages. For example, it was closer to the parks than the other hotels, and there are some hotels like the Hard Rock Hotel which are literally within City Walk, and you can, like, it would take like 2 seconds to get over to the actual theme park, but we stayed one which was probably like 5-10 minute walk away from the park, so it wasn't too bad. The walk was really nice, it was really warm, it was really well signposted, which was great. It also came with a water taxi service, which was really cool, so you could get on the water taxi service for free, or you could get a bus from the outside. But we didn't actually get the bus, so I don't quite know exactly where you get the bus from. Or you could walk in. It was easier for us just to walk in or get the water taxi, which was great. And you get an hour's early entry into the park. Having that extra hour in the morning was amazing because it gave us that opportunity to get in. Although it was busy-ish when you were queuing to get in, because obviously lots of our hotel guests were doing the same thing. Once you were in, it wasn't too bad. The only sort of things that were really busy was like the big rides and the new rides like Hagrid's or the new Jurassic ride. But yeah, it was lovely to have that extra hour. And also you get to have a express pass, but you get the unlimited. So Universal do 2 types of express passes, and I'm going to go into more detail in another video specifically on express pass. And in their express passes there's like a one-time use, so you can use it on any ride but only once per ride, or an unlimited, which you can use on any ride as many times as you want. So if you want to go on the Mummy Back-to-Back 6 times, you can go on the Mummy Back-to-Back 6 times. And that's the one we had, and we found it really useful. It really helped us with our trip. It helped obviously with having the shorter queues. There were still queues, like it's slightly different than the way Disney used to do Fast Pass, because there are still queues and sometimes the queues can be quite long. But yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I will explain more about that in another video. The actual hotel amenities was great. There were so many different places that you could go and see. So there was quite a few different sorry guys, there were lots of different options for food. There were a few table service options. We didn't use any of the table service options within the hotel, mainly because we were eating out of the hotel, and really the only time we would have been able to use them was on the 16th, and we had a really big meal while we were out, and I'll explain about that when we get to food. The quick service was really good. It was very expensive. It was really expensive for what it was. They were doing like a pot of fruit that was like this big was like $7 or something ridiculous. It was a ridiculous amount of money, but you know, you're at Universal and you're in a theme park, a tourist attraction, so you're gonna get the tourist attraction prices. You could get everything sorted at guest services. So they had a guest services here, and I can't remember what the other one's called, but it was called like Universal something, I can't remember. But basically we went there on our first night and we got all of our park passes, we got our express passes, and we were able to buy the photo pass. So that was really useful because we could literally just go and get everything, get it all sorted, and then the only thing we had to do was the next day find a kiosk to get our QR code scanned, and then we could have access to our photo pass. So that was really useful, really helpful, and they were so lovely, they were so friendly, helped us get through, helped us get everything that we needed, and it was just great. The staff were so lovely. All of the people who worked in the hotels were genuinely so nice, especially the person who checked us in. He was really chatty, he was lovely. It was just gone 7, and we were chatting, and he was asking us about like, is this our first time at Universal, our first day? We were explaining that it's our first time staying at Universal, how excited we were gutted because the parks were closed by the time we got there. Whoa, it's just suddenly got bright in my bedroom. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, and so he was so lovely, and he was like asking us like, you know, just different questions about it. And then he said to us, oh, I think you're gonna really love your room, this is your room number, blah blah blah. And he told us all this, like, he didn't actually tell us what it was, but he said, oh, when you get up there, just have a look out your window. And we were like, okay, cool. So we went upstairs and we were on, I think, the 8th floor, and we got upgraded to a theme park view room. Like, I can't even explain to you. We could see the Hulk ride, we could just see so many different rides, and it was so magical. And then just literally just as we got upstairs, sorry guys, I kicked it, and now the contrast and everything's gone funny in the brightness, so I apologise. But yeah, we got up there and we looked out the window, and there was just fireworks going off in the distance, and you could see the rides all lit up, and as they were going off, it was just so magical. So thank you for that. That was amazing. Yeah, so it was a lovely room, a lovely hotel, a great location, and it was really easy access to the parks. As I said, it only took a few minutes, which was great. So would I stay there again? Yes, definitely. It was kind of like the perfect location, perfect hotel. I thought it was amazing. Mum and John absolutely loved it. We would like to try the Hard Rock Hotel as well, though. The Hard Rock Hotel looks super cool. And imagine literally being like in the city walk, like it'd just be great, wouldn't it? But yeah, so that's all about hotels. Let's talk about the time of the year. It was Christmas-ish. We weren't there for Thanksgiving, so I can't really comment on Thanksgiving, and we can talk about the weather. So it was great going there at Christmas. It was great. However, I would love to see it more in December, because although it was Christmassy, it was obviously sort of mid-November when we went. Not all of the Christmas stuff was out, and I'm not necessarily meaning like decor, because majority of the decor was out. Like the Wizarding World was decked to the halls with like all of the reefs and the tinsel and just like, you know, the magic and everything you can find. The Cat in the Hat Land, or Grinchmas, or Dr. Seuss Land, that's the word. The Dr. Seuss Land was decked to the halls with Grinchmas stuff. There was loads of Grinchmas merch, but the actual like Wizarding World merch, there wasn't a lot of Christmas merch. In fact, I don't actually remember seeing much Christmas merch other than like a snowman, which had like a little Gryffindor scarf on it, and like in a plushie, and a little what do you call it, and an ornament, and a couple of other things. I can't remember quite exactly what, but there wasn't actually any like specific Christmas spirit jerseys or Christmas lounge flyers, all the stuff that I thought that they might have because they have over here at Warner Brothers, they didn't have over there. So I was quite surprised. I'd sort of gone, oh, I'm gonna buy this out there rather than buying it here, because, you know, I can say it come from Universal and have all the Universal Orlando labels in it. And, like, Harry Potter was great, and the Grinchmas was super, but I'd love to see more of it, especially as it gets more into December. It was great though when they had all the Christmas songs on, which was so good, and like Mariah Carey was on, and just all your classic Christmas songs, and then other Christmas songs that are obviously related to the parks, which was great. They had characters out meeting in their Christmas outfits. You could see the Grinch. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see the Grinch. Our times just didn't match up. It snowed at some points, obviously not real snow, just fake snow. But yeah, it was great, and I'd love to see it again, but obviously, as I said, I'd love to see it in December when it's in full swing of Christmas. So let's talk about food. Now, there isn't an awful lot to tell you about food, mainly because we were only there from the evening of the 15th to the mid-afternoon, early evening of the 17th, but we did have some good food that we ate and we enjoyed. So we went to the Chocolate Emporium, which was so cool. They had people dressed up like old, I want to say like robots, like futuristic robots, and they would come around to the table and chatting to you, and it was so cool. And I'm really sorry about the brightness. Yeah, so they had people coming round to the tables, which was so cool. We had like this chocolate bread for the starter, and that was delicious. I'm trying to think what I think I had ribs and a burger. John and I split them and like swapped because we both wanted one of each, so we couldn't make our minds up. And then we had like this chocolatey, creamy, cakey thing for dessert, and it was delicious but humongous. It was so big. We went to the Free Broomsticks. Personally, it wasn't really my cup of tea. Their English breakfast wasn't really an English breakfast, it was more of a continental breakfast. It wasn't that great, it wasn't anything to rave about. I definitely wouldn't spend that kind of money on it again. I would go and eat somewhere else. I would even eat in my hotel over eating in the Free Broomsticks, because it just wasn't, I mean, I know it's never going to be authentically British, but it just wasn't great. Like, the textures weren't great, it wasn't like particularly hot, it just wasn't, it was just not rated for me personally, and I know that Mum agrees with me, and I think John agrees with me as well. We had Florian Fortescue ice cream, and that was amazing. The Butterbit ice cream, you can't go wrong with Butterbit ice cream. I adore Butterbit ice cream. We had food from Tuk Tuk, the Tuk Tuk shop, which was our quick service inside of our hotel. I'm really sorry, I'm trying to talk quickly because my camera is flashing at me and I want to get this bit done before I change. Sorry about that, guys. Literally, as I said those last words of wanting to get that bit done, my camera decided to run out of battery. I think I was at the quick service at our hotel. So yeah, we went to, I think it's called Tuk Tuk, and it was great. The food was good. As I said before, it was a bit expensive, but the actual food was really yummy, so I did enjoy that. And finally we had, well, actually not finally, we had loads of snacks, but I can't remember exactly where they're from. So when I do my Universal and Disney dining video, I will then talk about all the other bits that we had. But we also had Cinnabons, and that was just before we went over, and that was amazing. Cinnabons is always perfect. Like, I've never had a bad Cinnabon from Cinnabons, touch wood. Touch wood. But yeah, it was so good. It was just how I remembered it. Oh, I wish Cinnabons would come back to the UK. I know that there's one in, where was it? We went Milton Keynes, because when I went and got my car, we drove to Milton Keynes to get it, and they had one in their service station that was on our way home. But I just want them to have some more that I like closer, and some more in London, because I miss Cinnabons and I love it, and I do love making my own, but obviously I wouldn't mind going and buying Cinnabons from actual Cinnabon. But yeah, that is everything that I can talk about in the favourite foods. I'm going to move on to the pros and the cons of the holiday. So it's kind of going to be a bit of like a mixed in. I haven't kind of put these in order like I did with Disney one. I don't think. No, not all of it. They're kind of just in the mixed up order. But the first one is the Express Pass. Absolutely loved it. As I said before, I would stay at Deluxe Hotel just for the Express Pass. It's worth the extra money. It helped us get so much more done, and I'm really sorry, I've just noticed I'm slightly not centered. sorry. It helped us get so much more done. Yeah, it was just worth the money and I really enjoyed it. I don't know if I'd pay for it outright. It depends how much it costs outright, because I think if you buy them when you're not staying at a hotel, they're over $100. So I actually think like spending to do like 2 nights in a hotel would be worth it, because we got the express pass for each day we were there, which was good. The next thing is the photo pass. It's a good idea, but it's not well executed. I am going to talk about this more in another video. There just wasn't enough rows with photos, and there wasn't enough photo spots. But I did love the fact that you got 3 physical printouts at the end, so you could choose any 3 photos that had been taken, and you could get them printed out. Now, obviously, we were only there for a certain amount of days, so we could only choose from a certain select amount of photos, but I assume if you were there for maybe a week, then that would be great, because you'd have so many photos to choose from. And you could also then choose to buy like other things. You could choose to buy extra prints or like mugs and coasters. The park times, the extra hour was amazing, but the closing at 7 wasn't great personally for me, especially when I saw that like a couple of weeks later the park times went up and they didn't close until one night like 9 o'clock. And when we were there, they were closing at 7, so by the time we got over to the hotel from arriving from Orlando International Airport, because we'd already been delayed, we're like, oh yeah, we want to head upstairs and then go over to the parks and grab this, that and the other and see this light show. And he was like, oh yeah, the parks close in like 10 minutes. And they literally closed at 7 while we were there. So although it was good in some ways, because, you know, we got to like chill and have some earlier nights and explore the hotel, we just would have liked more time in the parks, especially as we were only there for such a short period of time. Guest services, they were amazing at the resort. They booked us a cab to take us to Disney, which was so good. We were really worried about it, and we didn't know what we were going to use, whether we were going to use an Uber or a Lyft, and we were trying to work it out. We decided to go and speak to guest services, because obviously they know a lot about the taxis and the modes of transport in the area, and they booked us in with, I think it was called like the Orlando taxi service or something like that. I've got a picture on my phone, I'll put it in. And that was amazing. They booked that all for us, got it. And then as we got there, he slowed down so we could go under the sign. He slowed down so we could get pictures and videos going into the Wilderness Lodge and going up. He helped us get all of our stuff out. He was amazing. He was really, really nice. And yeah, that was great. Another con is that the free broomsticks didn't live up to its hype, as I said before, and I don't really need to go back into that, but it didn't really go. I'd seen people rave about it, but for me it was just a one and done. I've done it and I can say I've done it, but I wouldn't go back there again. But yeah, no, we had such a good time. I just love the fact that you could walk to the parks. I love the fact that everybody was really friendly. I love the fact that when the water taxis were going past, if they saw people, they would honk and they would wave, and they would shout like hello or good afternoon, good morning. Everyone was just so friendly, so that was a massive plus. And the fact that we stayed at Universal, like, I would definitely recommend it, because it just meant that there was less stress and we could just get on with what we needed to do and take it at a leisurely pace and just relax and enjoy the day. So yeah, that is all of our pros and cons. We're going to go on to the most memorable moments now. So one of my first ones is the Hogwarts Castle light show. So they did one when we went last time, whereas this time it's a Christmas one. Got a bit emotional. It was fabulous. It was so good. I'm going to upload the full video probably nearer the Christmassy period, because I've put little bits in, but if you want to see some of the video or some of the castle show, then you can check that out in the vlog, which I'll put, like, I'm not sure which side it is, but on one of the sides. We met members of the Potter Collector community by shouting well done dragon, but also in our hotel we met this really lovely lady, and I noticed because she had the Potter Collector and the Wizarding Trunk collaboration top on, and we ended up chatting to her. It was so much fun to shout well done dragon, because obviously we'd seen Peter do it so many times on his channel and other people, but we never got a chance to do it until this trip, so that was fun. It was so fun to just explore the Wizarding World, be in my little Popsy dress with my little wand, and it was just so great. And we got to find Nocturne Alley as well, which was so cool because I didn't know they had a Nocturne Alley. Like last time we went, I didn't know they had one, and it was just amazing. I could honestly just imagine going back one day with my friends from my Harry Potter community and just going in cosplay and like running around like and being silly and going through Nocturne Alley. It would just be so much fun. I could imagine that. I feel like we need a squad trip to do that. And I love the impromptu shows they had. They had like singers come out, they had choirs. Last time we were there, but I didn't see it this time, they had like the Triwizard Tournament champions come out. They had lots of different people just coming out onto their stages, which was really cool. And that's it for our most magical moments. Now we're going to discuss whether I ticked everything off my bucket list. Nearly, but not everything, for a couple of reasons. Obviously we were only there for a couple of days, so really one proper full park day. So things were closed, which meant that when they did reopen we weren't there anymore, so I didn't get to go on Rip Ride Rocket because that was closed and I really wanted to go on that. I didn't get to go on the Dudley Do Right's Rip Roar Falls, I think that's what it's called. Which is basically like a waterlog. That was closed at the time. We didn't go on Hagrid's or the new Jurassic ride because they had such long queues. They were like over 2 hours, and because, as I said, we were there for such a short period of time, we made the decision to go on more rides and explore more rather than spend like 4 or 5 hours queuing just for 2 rides, because I think we'd have been more gutted if we'd waited all that time, because these 2 rides don't have express pass. If we'd waited all of that time and then not got to do the other things we wanted to do. I would love to do them in the future, but I'm actually really happy that I chose not to queue in the queues, because I got to do so much more that I didn't get to experience last time. And I really want to do the Simpsons ride. There just wasn't an opportunity to go on the Simpsons ride. When we were looking at going on it, the queue was too long and we'd just eaten, so we wanted to make sure that we weren't like feeling sick or anything before we went on it. But yeah, I think that's pretty much all that I didn't do that I wanted to do. I think everything else I pretty much did. Oh, we didn't see the Macy's parade, but that's just due to our transfer. And we didn't watch the big fireworks show that's at the front of the park, but that wasn't necessarily like I must do. Like I would like to see that one day, but the Hogwarts show was more of a priority for us. And then we're going to talk about, we've already kind of answered this. The next one was, did we use all the transport? Which, as I said, no, we didn't use the buses, but we used a water taxi and we walked. And the last question is, when are we going again? Like the Walt Disney World video, but I don't know if everybody's watched it. We don't quite know yet. Going to Florida is a very expensive holiday, and as I said before, I obviously feel very privileged to have gone twice in my adult life, but with the cost of living crisis and with other things that are going on right now, I don't actually know when we're going to be able to do it. I would love to go back in 2024, as I said in the previous video, but it's just kind of going to depend on the financial situation and what else is going on in my life, and if any dining plans or anything come out, then we might end up getting to do that. But for now, we don't know. I really want to go back. I'd love to go back. I'd love to go to the one in California as well. That would be a dream, but I'm not sure. We have got a couple of trips coming up. We are going to be going to Barcelona, and I will discuss that at a later point in time, nearer to the time when the vlogs are going to be released. And we're hoping to go to Disneyland Paris at some point in time, and hopefully go to Edinburgh, but we're not quite sure exactly how these things are going to work, and when they're going to happen. And yeah, so that is all for this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions of anything that I didn't answer, then please drop them down below, or if you don't feel like you want to comment on the video, then feel free to DM me. I'm more than happy to answer DMs. I will either answer them in a DM or in a video, or I might do both. If you'd rather I didn't answer it in a video and you'd rather it was just between us because you'd like to ask me something that's a little bit more personal, then that's absolutely fine. If you enjoyed this video, then please give it a thumbs up. Comment down below what are some of your favourite things to do at Universal, and if you've got any questions. If you would like to see any more of my videos, make sure you click here and make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn the notification bell on so you are notified every single time I upload. Please let me know if the notification bell's not working. I've been told by 2 people now that they're not getting any notifications and they've got the notification bell on. So yeah, let me know so I can get in contact with YouTube if that is the case. And I hope you have a magical day, and I'll see you soon. Bye everyone.